Hello Team Absolution fans, before we get started with this video, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Magic Satchel. If you need cards, singles, case splits, playset splits, whatever you need in terms of Vanguard, Premium, or Standard, make sure you reach out to our sponsor, the Magic Satchel, for all your needs, including sleeves and mats as well, deck boxes too. Of course, you can find him on TCG Player, eBay, and as well as his email, themagicsatchelstore@gmail.com. Of course, that'll be up where you see right now on your screen. It'll also be in a link in the description. As always, we want to thank him for everything he does for us. So give him all your love and support when you need your Vanguard stuff. And now, back to the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a Premium Collection video. Today, we are discussing Premium Collection 2019, the best of the best. Ryan, let's get into it.
Well, you said it, Keith. Today is the best of the Premium Collection 2019.
The premium of the Premium Collection, is it?
We have just spent days upon days discussing what the best and the worst strides in this set are. Now, this video is about the best. So let's start with the baseline of the best. We'll start with our honorable mention and do our top 5, starting at number 5, going up to 1. We don't usually rank our videos, but in this case, we feel it's appropriate, simply because there are so many good cards in specific situations, but we wanted to rank just the best ones overall. And a little bit of our method was, how early can you get it off, how good of finishing power does it have, and just how useful is it in general in working with your deck. And how counterable is it by your opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll notice a trend in these top cards that they're going to go off fast, finish the game fast, and your opponent can't say a whole lot about it. So, our baseline, and this might offend some of you, so tell me in the comments below so I won't read them, is Drag Principal Morfessa. This is our number 6 card, and if you don't know what it does, I'm going to read off very briefly what each of these cards do. So, standard stride rules for Morfessa. Act Vanguard Circle once per turn. Cost: Counterblast 1, tune a card in your G-zone face up and retire 2 rear guards. Draw 2 cards, and until end of turn, you regard trigger units in your drop zone as grade 1. And that's very important because its next ability, Continuous Vanguard Circle, Ritual 10, all of your front row units get power plus 15k, critical plus 1. When your opponent would call cards from hand to guard circle, he or she must call 2 or more at the same time. Essentially, it gives all of your front row plus 15, plus 1 crit, and battle door skill. So, this is number 6. Keep in mind, there are 5 other cards that we think are better than this one, but it's so up there because it can just, the game-ending potential of this card is so great. It essentially gives free Force 2 to your entire front row, plus the actual Force 2 you can possibly get by playing Shadow Paladins, although Blue Art decks don't tend to run any Force markers, do they? So, you still get to emulate the abilities of both Force markers and give all your cards battle door skill. And, Shadow units are nothing to scoff at in the first place. Some of them can get quite strong. So, your opponent's going to be fighting you off. The one sticking point of this card is the Ritual 10 bit. It kind of delays you going into it super early in the first place. So although you can kind of help things along by calling out dudes with something like the main, and then sacking them off with Morfessa's first skill, and plus you get to count your trigger units, but unless you've been guarding every attack, simply throwing cards into the drop zone to try and win the game very early, you're going to have a bit of a problem getting to Ritual 10, and a lot of these other cards don't need as much combo reliance. Another one of the reasons cards like Amaruta aren't in the top 5 is because they need so much setup to do their awesome effects. Awesome effects simply aren't enough here in this set.
Yeah, I think this was the real point where it just kind of like edged Morfessa out, because we originally had her in our top 5 for quite a while when we were looking through this list. But the fact that Morfessa does have to have a little bit of setup required of her, and at the other 5, I think really just happen because you play the game, or it's just like barely more investment than just playing the game. Morfessa really does need you to kind of be going forward with getting the investment on the Ritual 10, and what kind of edged her out, even though the quality of the attacks she provides is unreal, in my opinion. It's just
like,
wow.
Good God.
Yeah. So yeah, so I think that's the over-under on why Morfessa, while great, does not quite make the cut into our top 5 list.
And that should tell you what our thought process was by going into this. So let's start with number 5.
Yeah, number 5.
Abundant...
USDA certified.
certified lean.
Mm-hmm.
Abundant Water Honorable Deity, Ichikishima. So, Big Ichi makes our list, and here's the ability. Standard stride rules, act Vanguard Circle once per turn, cost, counterblast 1 and turn a card from your G-Zone face up. Draw a card, and until end of turn, your opponent cannot use auto abilities of Guardians, and this unit gets Continuous Vanguard Circle, Oracle. All of your front row units get power plus 2,000 for each card in your hand. And Continuous G-Zone. If this card is face up, when counting the number of cards in your hand, count the number of face up cards in your G-Zone as well. So not only do you, later in the game, have Oracle forever, because you can count your face up G-Zone cards, you also, your opponent can't use any Sentinels or G-Guardians throughout
the skills of the G-Guardians.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. You can still use your 20k heal to turn it into a 15k guard, if you so choose, or if you're playing the flip heals still, that's a slightly better investment for you.
Yeah.
You're getting an extra 5k shield for, I mean, granted, it's free, but you don't get your ability, which is why so many G-Guardians are played. And so, not only does this card have sticking power throughout the game, which is, you know, a little bit unique in this set. There are a few Kant G-Zone cards in here. This card just straight up turns off PGs, and you can combo it with anything else that turns off grade 1s or anything else.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, you have the usual suspects in the Ichikishima deck being Silent Tom as the one that you're going to be running when just everything has guard restrict, and you're just like, oh, I guess I can intercept for 5k, and I think that's what I can guard with this turn. And then, of course, she plays into her old form, Ichikishima, with the second effect. So that now, that was always an issue with the old deck, what I found, Ryan, when, especially when we were playing back in Nationals, was that sometimes the Ichikishima deck would run out of steam. And you'd just be like, I can go into Ichikishima, but I don't have Oracle anymore, and that's kind of an issue for that deck to be going. And so the fact that this one just says, you're always going to have it, I got you covered, other version of myself, and yeah, I just think it's a really, really good effect overall.
This is pretty much the most utility of the ones we picked.
Yeah,
although it's not straight up battle power, you can use this whenever you want, and it's continuously live throughout the game. So the earlier you do this, the more chances to use the Oracle cheat are there.
Yeah.
And so although this one doesn't have a lot of finishing power, the fact that you can use it early, draw a card, and start flipping things over to start building up your Oracle ability, and not to mention it also gives your front row units something of 10k-ish, probably, in most situations. Probably going to have at least 4 cards in hand, though, DT.
Yeah, that's right. And the fact that, you know, even getting power is pretty huge, because pushing the Toms into ranges that are outside of just basic guard is very significant for something like that.
You can't get any crits, but that's the one shortcoming, unless, of course, you run Deer. And you just want to do that. You can do that. That would be interesting. Alright, number 4. Pure Saintist Green Katrina. So the Neo Nectar Stride, here's the effect. Standard Stride rules, auto Vanguard Circle when placed, cost, turn a card in your G-Zone face up. Call plant tokens to Rearguard Circle up to the same amount of face up cards in your G-Zone, and this unit gets Kant. All of your plant tokens get power plus 10k until end of turn. Then, auto Vanguard Circle when it attacks, search your deck for cards up to the same number of your plant tokens, call it a Rearguard Circle, and shuffle your deck. So, this is a build-a-board, completely tutorable from deck, and even though this might seem like a bit of a combo, considering the more plant tokens you have, the more value you get. So if you use this first stride, you at least get 1 plant token, and can use the second ability to tutor for whatever you want for free. Not to mention, all of her skills are free.
Yep. That's right.
The only cost you could refer to this is the turning G-Zone card in your G-Zone face up, which is not a cost, and the fact that you have to call over anything you already had out, but you also don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So, this card does need a little bit of setup, but the fact that you have Mirka, Sylvia, Maiden of Trailing Rose, Sunlight Garden Guide, that all provide you free plant tokens, you can essentially just call out a board, and to make this viable, you only need 2. To make it great, you probably want around 3 plant tokens.
Yeah, I think 3 is right around the threshold where I'm going to be feeling pretty okay about this card. 4 is ideal, and then 5 is just gravy.
Yeah.
But
yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So the fact that this card has no costs is fantastic, guarantees you 5 attacks, and if you manage to sneak some Force 2 markers onto the board by then, that is, then everything gets a crit. Then it's just, you've got plus 20k line on dudes you didn't have to call from hand, and every attack has a crit. So even 1 Force 2 marker is great because you get to use it twice.
Yeah.
2 Force 2 markers is just gravy, as you said.
Yeah.
This card is just the gravy train, essentially.
Yeah, and it's just, again, it's live immediately. You don't have to do any sort of investment just to get this. Have a stride fodder in your hand. Oh no. And you are way to the races with this card. So
not unless you Progenitor Dragon, and then you don't have to start.
Oh, yeah.
And then you don't have to do that.
But you probably are, I have so many words to say about the Zoo Progenitor Dragon and just like its wonkiness in comparison to all the other ones. But that's getting beside the point.
Hey
so
man, but it lets you stride for free, so take that as you will.
Oh yes.
Alright, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Evil God Pontiff Gastiel Dymas.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the ability. Standard stride rules. Auto Vanguard Circle. When a card is put into your soul, all of your front row units get power plus 3k until end of turn. Act Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, cost, counterblast 1 and turn a card from your G zone face up. Search your deck for up to 2 cards, put them into your soul, and shuffle your deck. This unit gets all of the abilities of the cards put into your soul by this effect until end of turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, the reason this card is top 5, especially the number 3 spot, is because this card gets better over time.
Yeah.
There will never be a time that this card is worse than it is now, because Dark Irregulars will always have cards printed at some point. So the next time Dark Irregulars gets support, this card gets more abilities to choose from. And the combos get more insane. Not to mention that there's already so many different combos you can do. You can turn them into a wall breaker with the 2 Sharots. You can do NLK combos and get other... You can essentially get restands. You can combine them with whatever else you want. You can give all your front row rear guards power. You can play this in old Gastiel and do multiple interesting things.
Yeah, garbage tricks, whatever you want.
Turn it into whatever. You know, its only shortcoming is it can't become your other strides and make those better like Gear Groovy can. But that would be going above and beyond. The fact that you can use NLK, any of the old Sharots, some of the old Bladewing combos can work with this in specific situations. The raw variation of abilities you can have, the raw variety, I should say, is insane. It will only ever get better. And not to mention, it's already topping some decent sample size events. Some 32-player stuff in Japan is starting to pop up with this card. I mean, what are you going to say about this? What are you going to say about tutoring the effects you want from your deck?
Yeah, that's right. I really think this is kind of like a 3-rank question mark because of the fact that like this card could be like 1+++++ by the time we're done with this card because of how just incredible it is that it literally just becomes anything you want from the card pool of Dark Irregulars that is from grade 3 and below. That is just the absolute amount of utility that brings is unprecedented. And it's live immediately, once again. Like you can just start it away.
You can just do
away.
this whenever you want.
Yeah, because CB1, obviously, you will usually have 1 damage to be able to go off with this card. So, absolutely, like, 2 thumbs up for our boy Gastiel coming back in hot as grade 4.
Yeah, there you go. So, he's got the proof in the pudding already, and it only gets better from here.
Oh, yes.
Like, how much better? It's Dark Irregular, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Number 2, Guilty Empress, Darkface Gridora. I'll read the skill. Standard stride rules. Act Vanguard Circle once per turn. Cost, counterblast 1, and turn a card from G-Zone face up. Until end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent cannot stand units during the stand phase, nor call other than from the hand. Auto Vanguard Circle. When it attacks, cost, soul loss 1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 card, call it to Vanguard Circle, and it gets power plus 10k until end of turn, shuffle your deck. Keith, why don't you take this one away?
Okay, well, let me tell you about Darkface Gridora.
Oh boy.
So, this card, first of all, the first skill, for those of you that do not know, because of the way this card is worded, you cannot use G-Guardians with this skill, because they are not being called from hand, which is very significant. On top of that, because everything is rested, your opponent will need to re-ride and have another unit to stride for the next turn.
And call all their other units.
Exactly. So that is huge. On top of that, but wait, there's more with this card, is shutting down any sort of superior calling that an opponent might try to do on you.
So all those plant tokens that your opponent wants to call, they can't do that.
Yeah, this card just says, that's nice. No. Go away.
Gold Paladin from deck? No, you're not allowed to do that. Royal Paladin from deck? Nope, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And then, with all of this, she doesn't just shut down your opponent. She also provides punching power to a clan that really only had the one big play, I think, which was just what is his name? Phantom Black, Ant Lion, and Zoa, just to go in and try to win on the one turn. This card now also has, here, let me just tutor out your Ant Lion and have that just ready to go and just punch you in the face.
And it gets an extra 10k on that.
Exactly. And then you can even combo with the grade 3 Hell Demise, which lets you restand another unit, and for all, you can get 5 attacks in Mega Colony, which I just never thought I would ever say that as a sentence in like any sort of reality. So this card just brings it all to the table. It says just straight up no to some decks in the format. Just anything that Spirit calls that's having a good time right now. And then on top of that, just gets you to finish the game with Mega Colony, so you don't have to rely on kind of Mimi combos, I guess you could say they are.
Or you're just looking for all the pieces and you're trying to hold on until then. No, it just says, okay, find one less combo piece, and I'm going to keep them shut down until you find the others.
Right.
She's just the missing link here that Mega Colony really needed. Not to mention just shuts down certain decks. Any low-value deck that doesn't play a lot of dudes to board, and the dudes they do play are the only way to get value, like Kagero, is super sad that they can't use any of their things.
That's right. And this one really, as well, puts you in a rock and a hard place, because then you have stuff like Obturandus and, what is her name? Overwhelm in the stride zone, so that you're like, do I call units? Do I not call units? I'm just screwed either way.
Yeah, what do I do?
Which one do I want to do? So, yeah. Absolutely amazing. It's
just fantastic.
Yeah, just slightly.
It works immediately. Did we say it works immediately? It works immediately.
Yes, also that.
You can do this first stride. There's literally nothing to stop you. It's Counterblast 1, flip up a card.
What is to note, though, is that if you do this first stride, Ant Lion is not available to you on first stride.
I mean, that's true. Because
you do need a Soul Blast grade 3 specifically.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's kind of minor. So
you can't do the finishing combo immediately, but the first effect, which is the number one reason you'll play this card, is available immediately.
Yes.
And it's generic flip, so you can do this 4 times.
Yeah, so have fun.
Yeah, enjoy yours. And our number 1, the manliest card in Premium Collection.
Oh, this guy.
Universe Ace Bustard. The biggest boy there ever was. So, standard stride rules. Auto Vanguard Circle. When your rear guard stands, cost Soul Blast 1 and turn a card from your G-Zone face up. This unit gets drive +1 till end of turn. That is not once per turn. Auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of the battle it attacked, if this card's drive is 5 or more, cost, discard 3 cards from your hand, stand this unit, and it gets drive -5 until end of turn. So, this card is number 1 because it's wholly reliant. It's a combo-y card, but the combo can go from playing the game as a normal Victor player all the way to demolishing your opponent in a perfect situation.
Yeah.
And honestly, the demolishing kind of starts around here. This is just win more. This is, if I am in Magical Christmas Land, exactly how many drives could I flip off the top of my deck to murder my opponent?
Yeah. How badly do I want to teabag my opponent today? Just like, okay.
Is it going to be a light tap-tap on the first stride, or is it going to be a nuclear bomb on third or fourth when I have enough soul to make this happen?
I don't know what to say about this card, right? It is just, it goes straight at your face immediately and says, well, I guess I'll just die now. I didn't even get to stride this game. I just lost.
I just died. I just fell over in this deck. Because, I mean, you do need rear guards to stand. But if you've ever seen a Victor deck before, you know that the card that you're striding onto, Zubat, Battle, or Victor, gives something the ability to stand something else. You've got Golsachi. You've got Ninja, you've got Jirahawk, you've got the stand trigger, you've got other cards that also want to stand. I don't know how many cards stand themselves, but honestly, with as many combo pieces I just listed that are wholly available to you that you play at 4 or 3, most of those you do, you're not going to be for a lack of dudes to use this ability with, and to make it live, you only need 2. But if you just want to wait and play out the rest of the awesome Victor strides, and then wait to do this at the end of the game and say, well, I can get 10 drives, here we go.
Yeah.
What do you do now?
And what's crazy about this card as well is that it's flipping your G-Zone each time something stands. So if this, for whatever reason, doesn't kill your opponent, let me just second strike Driger and win the game from there.
GG.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself playing this Vanguard game. So yeah, this...
can you survive a Stark after this?
Yeah, oh, God. So this card just brings it all to the table and just says, I'm going for your jugular, and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
Whenever. He's a constant threat from the G zone at
Yeah.
all times. So if this card ever shows up and you know your opponent can make things happen, you're gonna have a bad time immediately.
That's right. And when you factor in all the resist that Victor has by default, you don't even have stuff like Kagura or Narukami to try to help you out. But it's just, everything's got resist, so I guess I'm just sad regardless of what happens.
Yeah, you can be setting this up and doing your normal Victor stuff the entire time. Your opponent can't really stop you from other than by guarding, and then you just flip this down and say, well, it's time for me to play.
That's right. Well, I think, Ryan, with all of that, we have covered what we think are the top 5, plus our honorable mention, of course, in Premium Collection 2019. Of course, these opinions are 100% certified accurate. There's absolutely no way
Totally factual, just as every tier list always is.
That's right. There is no room for argument whatsoever, so you guys just do not waste your time on said things, because this was just correct. And yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Look out for our Worst 5 video coming out soon.
That's right.